Brother Thomas reminded me of the name with the guy with the last name first. Yeah. Uh, as he was coming in, they had a funeral procession or for Caleb Conley, which was the deputy that was killed yesterday, I think. So if we could do just a moment of silence for him, I would appreciate it. Thank you. I have to put up with Walker Thomas too on VMAP, so me and him's got to where we get in trouble together and we do other things together. So we'll now call the meeting to order, and Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Senator Funky Fromeyer. Present. Senator Howell. Senator Webb. Representative Herron. Here. Representative Petrie. Here. Representative Thomas.
Present.
Co-Chair Frazier Gordon.
Yes, ma'am.
Chair Girdler.
Here. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
Nobody objects? The minutes are approved. Jenny is going to now report the information items.
Pursuant to KRS 45.765, UK reported 3 equipment purchases funded with restricted funds. Pursuant to KRS 45.8121, 6 school districts, none of which needed an additional tax levy to pay debt service, report upcoming debt issues to finance new projects. The school districts were Pineville Independent, Boyd County, Clay County, Harrison County, Johnson County, and Kenton County. And pursuant to KRS 48.111.6A, the Finance and Administration Cabinet reported 3 advertisements for invitations to lease space with an anticipated cost above $200,000 for the Cabinet for Health and Family Services.
All right. Thank you, Jen. We're going to invite Meg Campbell. Is she out there on La La
Yes.
Land, or she's here?
I'm here. She's here, right here.
All right. Thank you, Meg. Before you get started, can I get a motion we roll these two together? Got a motion. Representative Herron, second. Representative Thomas. Any injections? All right. Motion carried. Ms. Campbell, you may begin.
So I'm reporting on the appropriation increase for Medical Towers 55A Vivarium. And the project came in over budget. It was bid right before COVID and then came in over. So we have that increased $2 million, and we've covered that with internal school medicine fees. And then our next item is a lease modification. We have a department that is growing. The lease will increase almost to just over $100,000.
All right. We have any questions? All right. We've got a question or two.
On the construction issue, if I remember right, in the materials that started back in 2020 or earlier, is that correct?
Yes, the grant was awarded, I believe, in 2020, but when you submit that grant, it's almost a year ahead of that. So around late 2018, 2019, early 2019 is when we actually made this submission.
Okay, so I just want you to help me understand, if you will, and I understand there's lag in federal grant program and other grant programs, but starting in 18 and maybe that culminated in 20, we're setting in 23. There were
Yes.
estimates of how much the project would cost, I assume, in 2020 and earlier are the estimates that were being used. And
That is correct.
Then we've got a 3-year intervening period where I'm not going to say nothing takes place, but apparently inflationary forces were at work. And you have to wonder whether or not if the project had moved faster, whether some of the inflationary pressures would have been avoided.
We were not able to start the project until late 2020 because it was awarded in September of 2020. Then we had to do design documents, and actually all the architectural pricing came in right. It was the HVAC dollars, and that's what we're seeing across the board, regardless, that our HVAC numbers are coming in almost double. So that was our big charge. That was the bigger charge. We weren't able to start, we started the documents, but it's a vivarium. It's a very complex project. So,
and to be absolutely honest with you, I had to look that word up to make sure I understood exactly what that entailed. And now I know much more about it, but not enough. But the HVAC, we're talking about, if I remember right, an $8 million that going to a $10 million. Is that right? On the project?
Correct. That is correct.
So we've got a $2 million increase primarily based on HVAC?
Primarily, and then there's some additional escalation costs in there too. I mean, there was the construction costs went up, but not the way that the construction costs went up around 10%, that the HVAC costs went up 50%. It's 50% higher than what was initially budgeted. And then there were also there's some equipment costs that are in that as well. So we're putting in a fish lab. All of those aquaneering costs are gone up. So it's a combination of escalation based on the original budget numbers, which were done in 2018.
Right, this was not a change in scope. This is mere inflationary cost, right?
No change in scope.
Okay. So just to clear my conscience on behalf of taxpayer money, just to make sure, or taxpayer oversight, not money, but could this project have moved faster?
We are actually ahead of the deadline date that that the NIH has given us by 8 months. So we were pushing it as quickly as we could. We actually contemplated pushing it out further, hoping that we knew numbers were going to escalate, but we decided to go ahead and move forward so that we could try to get contractors. I mean, we had one bidder. We couldn't even get people to bid this project. So we were at the mercy of bidders and escalation.
Yeah. Again, don't take anything by those questions. It's to clear my conscience more than anything.
No, that's fine.
else.
I understand.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Meg, it's always nice to have an A&R chair to kind of watch over us and knows what's going on. So, and I do appreciate him. I really do.
No, I completely understand.
Yeah. Any other questions? If not, you got one. All right.
Thank you for allowing further questions. Getting to the question that I thought you were nearly there, the design versus the engineer, there's so many methods that can speed that process. Is that one that we might need to consider on other projects? Is the design necessary? Like, I recognize there's and I'm not in construction, but I've been on a number of the projects where you can be designing and constructing almost within the same time because there's only so many parameters that you can stretch there. Is there a way to shorten that process?
So if you do design build, this is an NIH grant. An NIH grant does not allow that. An NIH grant is laid out. They give you step by step of what you have to do. So for example, when we got the approval that we won the grant, they give you a window of time to get your documents together. After you get your your first set of documents, your schematic design, then it has to go back to the NIH, and they tell you they will get the documents and the approval back to you from anywhere from 30 days to 3 months. So once you get your documents in, and we were always trying to get them early to expedite, it still took, our longest time for review and approval from the NIH was right at 3 months. So on a project that's not an NIH, yes, you can do that. But an NIH grant, they have very specific ways that you have to work.
So of the 60 months that this has been underway, 3 months of a delay.
Oh, no, that was just for schematic design. We had to submit it each phase. Each phase you could wait 3 months between each phase before you get your approval. We only had to wait 3 months once. The other 2 times were about right at 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah. It is interesting, the cost of time.
Yes.
Real cost of time.
And we have heard back from them on this particular grant. They offer, I don't know how many CO6 grants they award each year, but of the others, we're trying to get more money because everybody has run into this with the NIH, but they're not giving any additional funds.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that opportunity to ask.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for anybody? All right. If we can get a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second.
Spring just went out to go grab something, but this was rolled in with Murray State. So we
All
need
right.
to do Murray State, then we can vote.
We have got,
I'll withdraw the motion.
all right, and he'll withdraw a second. We are going to do, can you report on Mary State? Because we rolled them together there, Meg.
Jackie Dudley,
Oh, Jackie Dudley's gonna do
Murray State.
Mary State.
And
I'm assuming-
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
Mr. Chairman, this is Jordan Smith from Murray State University. I'm our Executive Director of Government Relations, and I have with me Beth Ward, our Director of Procurement, and we're actually here on Vice President Jackie Dudley's behalf.
all right. Then you may proceed.
All right. Well, we have on the
We lost you.
Looks like we may have lost Jordan. So this is also related to an NIH grant. This is for a Zeiss microscope. Would be used in our biology department in some genetic research uses. The microscope, total cost of the microscope is $587,682. The NIH grant will fund all but $50,000 of that microscope. The other $50,000 is being funded by direct cost accounts related to those federal grants. So there's no university money being used here. This is all federal grant money through NIH.
All right. We have any questions? All right. Now I will entertain the motion for that again. Representative Petrie, second for my co-chair. Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Senator Funky Fromeyer,
Yes.
Senator Howell, Senator Webb, Representative Herron, Representative Petrie,
Yes.
Representative Thomas,
Aye.
Co-Chair Fraser Gordon, Chair Girdler.
Aye. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Now, we're going to get a lease report from Elizabeth Baker, and we're going to roll these together. So if I can get a motion to roll these.
Motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second. All right. You may proceed, Miss Baker.
Hello, how
Hello.
are y'all?
Hey.
We have 4 leases that we're requesting approval of. The first one is for 7,893 square feet for our Kentucky Injury Prevention Center in Fayette County, Kentucky. The annual cost is not to exceed $130,234.50. The second lease is for UK Healthcare King's Daughters Pediatric Clinic. This is for 6,851 square feet of clinical space in Ashland. The annual cost is not to exceed $133,041.44. The third is a renewal and this is for UK Healthcare's administrative and financial services. We have them off campus to have more room for a clinical. This is for this is 3 adjacent buildings totaling 101,264 square feet of office and administrative space in Lexington. The annual cost is $2,744,254.40. The fourth lease is an addendum to an existing lease for our specialty pharmacy services. They are leasing space in Lexington on Wellington Way. It's 35,219 square feet. And the services they offer have increased significantly. And their clean room or their cool room wasn't staying cool enough. And we had to install some additional cooling equipment to serve just that area. It only doesn't serve any other part of the building, just the clean area. The annual cost of this lease will be $1,360,000.
All right. It's my birthday, and everybody's
Well, happy birthday.
giving me birthday thing, and I forgot to turn it off. That was my son.
When it's your birthday, you should be birthdayed all week.
Well, you know, when you get my age, you're just tickled to death to get there, not afterwards. I'm rattled now. Anybody got any questions for her, Ms. Baker? All right. Meg?
Okay, so we have a lease with the Ryan White program that has expanded. The program has grown, and they have just inched over that $100,000 limit. So we are requesting a lease modification based on that.
All right. We got any more questions for any of this? All right. If not, I'm going to entertain a motion. We got a motion from Senator Webb. Second from last name, first name guy. All right. And Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Senator Funky Fromeyer.
Aye.
Senator Howell. Senator Webb. Representative Herron. Yes. Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Frazier Gordon.
Yes.
Chair Girdler.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Now we're going to get a report. I think we're going to switch from Janice Thomas in the chair to Kevin Cardwell.
Good morning, Chair Girdler and members of the committee.
Thank you.
My name is Kevin Cardwell. I am Deputy State Budget Director. I've got 4 items I'll be presenting today in accordance with KRS 45750.
Let me stop you real quick,
Yes, sir.
Kevin. I'm going to get a motion to roll these together, if I can. Got a motion, Senator Webb? Second. Got a second, Representative Herron. Now you can proceed.
Thank you. So, as I was getting ready to say, we've got 4 items today. 2 of them are going to be action items and 2 are reporting items of pool projects. The first item to report for action is an emergency repair, maintenance, or replacement project. It's for the Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Cabinet, Department of Parks, and it's the Jenny Wiley Marina electrical repair. The amount is $350,000, and it's funded from the Emergency Repair, Maintenance, and Replacement account. This is to repair a failed electrical infrastructure at Dock C and eliminate the danger that's currently there by that failure. Authority for this is KRS 45750, 1G3, and KRS 45780. The next item is a capital construction and equipment purchase contingency fund allocation. This is for the Finance and Administration Cabinet, Facilities and Support Services. This is for the Finance Cabinet relocation in the amount of $3,533,000 to cover the associated moving costs relative to further reconfiguration of the existing space on the 5th floor and file migration services, to allow for the new occupants to efficiently occupy the new space. Authority is pursuant to KRS 45770, paragraph 4. You mean to pause there, or you may go ahead and do the two reporting
Uh,
items?
we may have, any questions on these two? All right, Representative Petrie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On action item regarding Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Cabinet Jenny Wiley Marina Electrical Repair Project, you presented on, you mentioned electrical failure, Dock C, I think is what you had referenced.
Yes, sir.
When did the failure take place?
Well, I'm going to have to turn to a friend behind me, Sam Ruth. Hopefully, he's got the details there. I don't have that specific date, so just a moment.
I'm not sure his mic is on.
All right, thank you. Need me to state my name again?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Sam Ruth, Commissioner of Facilities and Support Services. The first we learned about it was April of this year, when there was some arcing in the water that was seen, and from that, Parks reacted and started shutting down access to Dock C.
I know there was additional money let this last session, part of it on Jenny Wiley. Was this anticipated to be included in electrical upgrades and this just hastened this particular issue, or was this a completely unaccounted for system failure that would not have been on anyone's radar previously?
I'm not aware of any project that was going to upgrade the electrical system until the failure.
Okay.
I'm not aware of it. Parks
Okay.
would
Fair
probably
enough.
have a better idea.
Fair enough. Thank you on that one. I've got another question on the capital construction, finance, and admin, if you want me to continue.
That'd be fine. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Mr. Cardwell, on, I'm trying to better understand the, what we have as action item 6B, capital construction equipment purchase. Regarding the move, is this from Annex to Miro?
Yes.
Okay. And that was completed about how long ago?
We're still in the process. We've broken into two phases. The move happened, I think everybody was out of the annex in December, and we had to construct some offices very, very quickly to get people in. And now we're going into phase 2, which is rearranging the current furniture to get departments set up. We're going to be building a couple of offices that weren't in existence. It was basically a cube farm with a few offices. Now we're building some additional offices, so that's phase 2.
And the total price on this was proposed
$3,533,000.
for additional offices?
Well, lighting, sprinkler systems, it's an underfloor plenum. We were thinking we could just move some of the VAV boxes, but the system is so old, we had to replace some of the VAV boxes. So it was more than just building some offices. There was file storage, some secure data for, I believe, the controller's office. So it's more than just a couple offices.
So if this $3 million goes through, in addition to what was previously expended, would run us up to what kind of price tag?
I believe we had a item previously reported that was $971,800. So you
Right.
add those two together.
We're around $4 million mark?
Mhm.
Is that right? And this is phase 2?
Yes,
And phase 3?
not one.
There will be no phase 3?
I sure hope not.
There is no anticipated, planned, or hoped for phase 3?
No.
This concludes the move. No more furniture, no more lighting, no more walls, no more. We're finished.
We're finished.
You any place them under oath? Just make sure. No.
I'm anxious to get this done too.
Thank you very much.
All right, Senator Webb.
Thank you. I apologize. That was thrust upon y'all in a fashion where you had to really scramble to get that done. Did you have any projections when we forced your move about how much it would cost, or did you have any idea at all? Did you present it? If you presented it, I've forgotten it. Any projections on the anticipated move?
I don't think there's any way we could have known, because it was, it was basically move out of the annex, you got to be out by December, and so we started packing boxes.
That was my recollection. Sorry that happened to y'all. Thank you.
All right, we got one more question.
Great follow-up on that. I've got a feeling that the renovated floor at Merrow Street is a much better accommodation than where you were in the annex, would be my guess. Or to be renovated floor.
People don't like to move.
Well, I understand
if you
that.
took a poll, I think people would say I'd want to be in the annex.
You like this location better still?
Yeah.
Are you asking for an invitation back?
People had offices here.
Sure.
They're moving into, a lot of people are moving into cubicles that had offices. So there's some growing pains with it, but it's a nice building, it really is. It's an old building, not as old as this one, but
Plentiful parking.
yes, it does have plenty of parking.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. We need to,
You've already rolled it, we just need to vote on it.
all right. We're going to vote on this, and I was going to comment that when Kevin got here, he had hair, and so I'd stay away from him because you're getting there too.
I've been sitting too close to him too long.
Can I get a motion? Got a motion, Senator Webb. Representative Herron, second. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Howell. Senator Webb.
That's Kevin.
Representative Herron. Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Frazier Gordon.
Yes.
Chair Girdler.
Aye. All right, now you may proceed with the pool allocations.
Thanks, sir. So last two items are just reporting of pool projects excess of $1 million. Reporting this in accordance with the current budget bill, House Bill 1, Part 2. Tourism, Arts, and Heritage, both of these are from the Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Department of Fish and Wildlife. They're both FELO. The first one is Dodge Gap Jefferson County Memorial Forest Project. The amount of that is $2.1 million, and it's funded from the Department of Fish and Wildlife fees in lieu of stream mitigation pool. This project will restore and protect over 17,300 linear feet of stream habitat in the Salt River service area. Second reporting is also, as I said, a FELO project, Ferguson Creek project, in the amount of $2.5 million from fee in lieu of stream mitigation pool. This project is in Livingston County. It's Ferguson Creek. Project will restore and protect over 70 acres of wetlands in the lower Cumberland River service area.
Have any questions? No questions? Miss Senator Funky Fromeyer.
Thank you. Because I'm new, I tend to ask a few more questions. And just to better understand, in projects like this, are there students that are involved? Any of our university students that might be pursuing conservation or pursuing these sorts of degrees? Does that help us manage the cost of some of these projects?
I would not have the answer to that. And is there anyone from tourism here today? I didn't have a name for tourism.
I
Sorry.
think Ms. Webb may have a.
Okay, thank you.
Can y'all hear me? My name is, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
My name is Jesse Bowles with Kentucky Fish and Wildlife's Wetland and Stream Program. I'm a project manager here, and I'll be the project manager for both of these projects. And we typically don't involve students or universities in our everyday projects, but sometimes we do contract through different universities to do monitoring or studies as part of our program. So part of our projects.
You've got a fan over here, Senator Webb, so she's can help you out anytime. You want to say anything?
I'll just add to that. These FELO projects are federal and they're highly regulated projects to restore habitat, and there's a structure you have to operate in that's pretty stringent in order to retain that money and get that money. And like he said, they do include universities and projects for monitoring, but it's I'm just glad to see the money moving. Y'all, we've got funds that are backed up there, and we're just glad to see these projects going. So thank you.
All right. Any more questions, Senator Fomar? Go ahead.
How can we, again, thinking from a taxpayer perspective, and of course, we're also federal taxpayers, so these are federal dollars that we've all paid into. How can we maybe coordinate with our educational system? We have a priority for education in Kentucky as well. I just see this as such a tremendous opportunity for workforce preparation, and you then graduate people that actually do have experience being good stewards of federal projects as well as state projects.
Sure. And actually, I was a student at U of L when I learned and started co-oping in this program, so I'm definitely a benefit of that. And I was mistaken. We actually do some different contracting with different universities on different portions of our program. We're actually doing an after-action review with the Army Corps of Engineers on our program, and we're actually contracted to the University of Kentucky on that. And actually, in the University of, we're using the University of Louisville on a few projects as well. They are our lead design team. As far as getting more students involved, I mean, we can think about that and pass that along. I'm not sure how to do that exactly, but definitely will consider, thinking about it and pass that along.
Thank you, and thank you for sharing that you had that co-op experience as well. That's excellent.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question.
Any other questions? All right. Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Thank you. Scott Aubrey? You got La La Land, Scott?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair.
All right. We've only got one item for you, I think, right, Scott?
I have 3 items to report today, I believe.
All right. So we'll roll those. Oh, you're just reporting them. All right. We don't need to roll anything.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay, the first item I have is a modification of the original emergency lease for the Department of Corrections in Graves County. The Division of Real Properties advertised for long-term temporary lease office space. Since only 2 agencies lease space instead of the 4 original agencies, we modified the original emergency lease. The only response received was from the current lessor. Therefore, the lease modification was entered into March 16th of 23 for 2,919 square feet of office space at $16.80 per square foot for a total annual cost of $49,039.20, and is set to expire on June 30th of 2023. The second item I have is a modification of the original emergency lease for the Cabinet for Health and Family Services in Graves County. The Division of Real Properties advertised for long-term temporary leased office space. And since only 2 agencies leased the space instead of the original 4 agencies, we modified the original emergency lease. The only response was received from the current lessor. Therefore, this lease's modification was entered into March 16th of 23 for 7,410 square feet of office space at $15.25 per square foot for a total annual cost of $113,002.52, and will expire June 30th of 2024. The last item is a new lease for the Transportation Cabinet in Breathitt County. Temporary housing was needed for families whose houses were damaged by flooding that occurred in July of last year. The lease properties provide sites with basic utility hookups to place non-congregate shelters. Therefore, leases were procured through non-competitive negotiations. As a result, the Commonwealth entered into a lease for 45 suitable lots. The lots are leased on a month-to-month basis at a cost of $100 per site per month and may be canceled without cause by giving 30 days written notice.
All right. Any questions for Scott? Scott looks like you did a real good job. So we thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee.
Next, we're going to have a report from Office of Financial Management, and we're going to have several witnesses, it looks like. But we're going to roll, I'd like to get a motion to roll the loans and the grants into one call vote if we can.
Motion.
Got a motion from my co-chair. All right, we got finally forced Representative Petrie to second it. Thank you. If there are no objections, we all may proceed.
It's Sandy. It's Sandy.
Sandy's first.
Thank you, Chairman Girdler and members of the committee. I'm Sandy Williams, Executive Director with the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority. Pursuant to KRS 224A-100, the authority will present 3 loans and 4 grants for the committee's review. First is a Fund B Infrastructure Revolving Fund loan. Mayfield Electric and Water Systems Fund B loan in the amount of $8 million is for their Pilgrim's Pride substation project. This project is the construction of a 69-13 kilovolt electric utility substation, along with approximately a half mile of 69 kilovolt transmission line. The distribution lines will be added to serve the new load and to integrate the substation into the distribution system. This will be a 20-year loan with a 0.5% interest rate and was approved at the May 4th KIA board meeting. This is Katie Smith. The next 2 loans are Fund F loans. These are Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. The first is the City of Harrodsburg's Fund F loan in the amount of $4,280,000 for the construction of their water main and water hydrant replacement project. The project is the replacement of approximately 19,000 linear feet of various sized water mains. There will be a replacement of 50 water hydrant assemblies and installation of valves between the hydrant and the water main. In addition, the project will include the rehabilitation of 3 storage tanks and replacement of 40 water meters. Many of the city's existing water lines are compromised. They're old and unlined galvanized and cast iron pipes, which are subject to corrosion and have low pressure, and they require continuous repairs, which leads to excessive operation and maintenance costs. This project will alleviate those concerns. This 20-year loan will have an interest rate of 1.25% and was approved at the May 4th KIA board meeting. The last loan is the Northern Kentucky Water District's Fund F loan in the amount of $4 million, which will be used for construction of the Newport and Ovation water main replacement project. The project will involve replacement of approximately 25,000 linear feet of aging water line that experiences a high incidence of breakage and low flows. Water mains will be upgraded to the minimum standard size to improve system capacity and redundancy. The overall project will reduce water main breaks, water loss, service disruptions, and limit the possibility of contaminants entering the system. This 20-year loan will have a 2.25% interest rate and was also approved at the May 4th KIA board meeting. The 4 cleaner water grants for the committee's review today. 2 of those grants are from fiscal year 21. They are project reallocations to the same utility within the same county that had previously been reported to this committee. The 2 grants from fiscal year 2022 are also project reallocations to the same utility within the same county. One of those grants had previously been reported to this committee and is designated as a reallocation. And Senator Webb, I would like to report that one of those utilities is, I believe, in your district. And that concludes my report today.
All right. We've got a couple of questions. Only thing I've got a concern about is you keep replacing all these old things. And I'm 68 years old today, and you keep reminding me that I'm replaceable. So it's really, I've got some PTSD over this. So, Senator Fromeyer.
Do we refer to you as the old pipes or?
Yeah. My pipes are frozen in my head somewhere.
Sandy, thank you for this detail. When this is part of my Senate district too. Thank you. This northern Yeah, with the Ovation in Newport. And when I was looking at the comparison of the three, the 8 million that will have a 0.5% interest, and then the 4.2 that will have 1.25, and then the 2.25, what determines the differences on the interest rate?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. That's a really astute question. So we do offer different interest rates here at the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority, and it's based on the system's median household income. So for systems that have an MHI at or above the state's MHI, they get our standard interest rate, which is the highest rate. If the utility service area has an MHI between 80% of the state up to the state's MHI, they get a lower rate. So that would be that middle rate you see. And then below 80% of the state's MHI is that third or lowest interest rate that we do offer.
And Sandy, would you mind sharing that number? What is the current MHI?
It is, so if you will allow me to paraphrase, it's 52,000 and change.
Okay, and change. Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you.
All right. Representative Petrie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I need you to help me understand something, okay? And this is not a setup, this is informational is what it is, okay? I'm in some of the summary that I'm looking at, there's a reference to a principal forgiveness component with each of these three loans, and they vary in amounts, and somewhat like the question of Senator Fromeyer. So what factors or consideration goes into how those are categorized and how they're handled with the amounts, if any, of principal forgiveness, please? Just a summary of it would be great.
Yes, sir. Again, another astute question. I guess that means everybody's paying attention, which is good. So similar to the breakdown of MHI for allowing non-standard rates, we also have a system in place that provides different levels of principal forgiveness based on certain factors. And so MHI of the service area is one of those factors. And then there's an affordability index as well. So comparing the annual 4,000 gallon charge for water or sewer compared to the MHI. So at or below one, depending on so each program is slightly different based on the requirements. So we get a federal grant from US EPA. So based on the requirements of the terms of the federal grant, we offer different levels of principal forgiveness based on different conditions. And I could provide that.
That's perfectly fine. If it's easy enough to do it, please provide. But for today, that's all that's necessary. One further question on this, though. Either the principal forgiveness component or some other component of these loans, where does it take account of the relative rates assessed by, let's stick with electric or water, but in particular water, what the rates are in a particular district that's requesting financial assistance? So I need assistance replacing pipes. I need a lot of principal forgiveness, but my rates are also some of the lowest in the state. To make sure that local districts are not deflating their rates and keeping them comparable to others and in accord with current times and current value of money, where is that accounted for? Or if it's multiple spots, that's fine, but where is that mostly accounted for?
Well, first and foremost, we review the financial statements with the utility to make sure that their rates can support their cost structure. So that's step one. Step two, we make sure we can get repaid. So we make sure that, and then we look at those two factors together when, and include any rate increases in that affordability index calculation. But we do work with the utilities. We can't make them raise their rates.
Yes.
But we do advise them.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Sorry, I have just one more.
All right, Senator Fromeyer.
Yeah. So helpful, what you shared. If there is some belief that, of course, using Newport as the example, that the 2.25 or that the MHI that was determined, or even that principal forgiveness calculation, if the utility has a disagreement to that, do they have an opportunity to pursue? I drive through that area every day and have for 15 years, so I'm real familiar with what's happening there. And I'm surprised that the MHI is there today. I anticipated it will be in the next 10 years. But right now, there's really hardly anybody living there. Most everything is sort of in the redevelopment mode and has been for 4 or 5 years. So I guess I'm a little surprised that the MHI is that high.
So we do, with our 2 federal programs, well, actually with all of our loan programs, we calculate the MHI based on a computer model. So service lines for the entire system, and then the census tracts that those service lines go into. So the computer model calculates the MHI for an area, for service area. If the utility disputes the calculation, we have 2 methods that are outlined in our intended use plan. So those intended use plans can be found on our website. And we do an intended use plan every year for both of our federal programs.
All right, we're going to entertain a motion to approve if no other questions. So, all right, I got a Representative Petrie, you got a motion? Second, Representative Thomas. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Funky Fromeyer.
Aye.
Senator Howell. Senator Webb. Representative Herron.
Yes.
Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Fraser Gordon.
Yes.
Chair Girdler.
Aye. Katie, before you come on, Representative Petrie's got a quick question or a quick. We'll take it up at the end. All right, thank you. Katie Smith, you're here. I guess we need to roll about 8 of these over. So if I can get a motion on that. We got Representative Petrie second with my co-chair. All right, yeah. A motion is approved if nobody disagrees. Katie, you may begin.
All right. My name's Katie Smith. I'm the Deputy Secretary at the Cabinet for Economic Development.
Hi, good morning. I'm Kylie Palmer. I am the Director of Program Administration. Name change.
Reorg.
Kylie, only one you have to fear is Senator Funky Fromeyer. That's it. All right. You may begin.
Thank you. We're happy to bring 8 grants today that are being funded through the Kentucky Product Development Initiative Economic Development Fund Program. These have gone through the same process that I mentioned at last month's meeting. We partnered with the Kentucky Association for Economic Development, hired an independent consultant. It is Site Selection Group, and they did a study of them, and they scored them and then recommended projects to us, and we're going through due diligence, and we have 8 projects to recommend for infrastructure approval today. So the first is the requesting the use of $459,441 for a grant to Adair County Fiscal Court on behalf of Columbia Adair Economic Development Authority. These organizations are partnering to build a 150,000 square foot certified build-ready pad to attract new businesses to their community. The total project cost is estimated at over $918,000, and the Fiscal Court, City of Columbia, and the Economic Development Authority are all going to match the funds through the KPDI program. Next, we have the use of $250,000 to make a grant to the Allen County Fiscal Court on behalf of Allen County Scottsville Industrial Development Authority. And this project's going to construct a 100,000 square foot building pad in the Allen Springs Industrial Park. The total project cost is estimated at $500,000, and the Industrial Development Authority is going to be providing the matching funds under the program. Next, we have requesting the use of $496,603 to make a grant to Breckenridge County Fiscal Court on behalf of Breckenridge County United Incorporated. And this project is going to invest in the acquisition of land to create a new industrial site in Breckenridge County. Total project costs are estimated at $1.4 million, and the Breckenridge County United Incorporated is going to secure a bank loan to match the funds for this program. Next is the use of $1,892,000 to make a grant to the City of Corbin on behalf of the Southeast Kentucky Industrial Development Authority. And this was a regional project and partnering with the City of Corbin, Bell County, Knox County, and Whitley counties. And they're going to construct a 105,000 square foot spec building in the business park there. Total project cost is estimated at $3,784,000, and the Industrial Authority is going to be providing the matching funds for this project. Next, we are requesting the use of $217,500 to make a grant to One East Kentucky on behalf of Johnson County Fiscal Court. And they are going to expand their existing Kentucky Build Ready Certified Industrial Park in Hager Hill. And the total project cost is estimated at $435,000, and the Fiscal Court is going to be providing the matching funds for this project. Then we have the use of $599,414 to make a grant to the Rowan County Fiscal Court on behalf of Moorhead Rowan County Economic Development Council. And they're going to purchase 238 acres located on the Rodney Hitch Boulevard there in Moorhead for future industrial use. That total project is estimated at $2.3 million, and the Economic Development Council is going to be providing the matching funds for that project. Then we have the use of $437,274 to make a grant to the Russell County Fiscal Court on behalf of Russell County Industrial Development Authority. And they're going to extend a road through the Lake Cumberland Regional Industrial Park. That project cost is estimated at $974,500, and the Industrial Authority is going to be providing the matching funds under that project. And the last one today is requesting $252,500 for a grant to Simpson County Fiscal Court on behalf of the Franklin Simpson Industrial Authority. This project is going to build a 50,000 square foot build-ready pad to attract new businesses to its community. Total project is estimated at $505,000, and the Industrial Authority is going to provide the matching funds under that project. All 8 projects were recommended by Secretary Knoll and concurred by Secretary Johnson as required by statute, and they received approval by the State Property and Buildings Commission at its meeting yesterday. So we respectfully request approval of all 8 projects.
You got anything you want to add? She's done it good, thank you.
She's learning.
I've been here 8 years, and I'm learning too. We have any questions? We got Representative Petrie, and then we'll go with Senator Funky Fromeyer afterwards.
Very good. First off, so this is more for public consumption than anything else. So am I given to understand that in 2022, there was legislation and a statutory creation of an economic development program called PDI, Product Development Initiative, that was given statutory flesh and direction for independent analysis on business proposals and projects for which there was $100 million put in by appropriation for the General Assembly into that statutory schema for the purpose of across the Commonwealth entertaining ideas that people may have about build-ready sites and infrastructure and all kinds of things, proposals that may lead to real-world probability as assessed by an independent agent about economic development projects across the Commonwealth. Is that what we're talking about?
You sold that very nicely. Yes, sir.
Should I repeat that to make sure people heard it? Secondly, do you have any idea how much money is remaining at this point?
I
Ballpark.
know ballpark after we're going through still the due diligence of 54 projects. So for round 2, we've been marketing that we have $66 million available. Letters of intent were due to the Kentucky Association for Economic Development by April 28th, I believe was the date. And round 2 applications are due June 23rd. So please speak with your economic development representatives for your communities, your county judges, because even if you didn't submit a letter of intent, you can still submit an application.
And if I heard you correctly, you're talking about round 2. There's already been round 1.
These are round 1.
Yeah, round 1's completed on applications and it's sealed off in that sense. But round 2 is still open, correct?
That is correct.
Round 2 is still open and has considerable amount of money, actually a majority of what was put into it in the beginning, correct?
Correct. Under round 2, the maximum for each county, most of the counties have an increase. Some had a decrease for round 2, but most have an increase. The maximum is $2 million available per county.
So if someone had submitted or thought about submitting in round 1, but their project was too large, didn't fit within round 1, they could try again in round 2, correct?
Correct.
Very good. In the particular projects that you've denoted today, you mentioned match by beneficiary, which may be county, may be an economic development authority, and so forth and so on. Are you seeing a particular trend in these projects under PDI where that is bonded matches, cash matches, combination matches? Where is the money coming from?
I would suggest, I believe it's kind of a combination. I mean, you've got, as you saw, one was a bank loan financing in here, but a lot of it is organizations are doing cash matches. And whether it's your community, whether it's your fiscal court, your city, it could be companies that do it. It could be federal grants that the project may have received assistance for.
Very good. One last thing, if I may. And on this PDI program, it could be an economic authority. It could be a county. It could be a city. It could be somebody else. And I believe, if I'm not badly mistaken, we have these things called development districts, area development districts, ADS that cover the entire Commonwealth that can assist with people who may have questions about making an application and get them in contact with you to pursue these business probabilities for economic development across the state. Is that right?
You are correct.
Very
and
good.
if you complete the application, well, we call it, it's more of a request for information is what is out there right now that's due June 28th. And if your community completes that, it's a lot of information that is requested from companies when they're looking to look at potential sites for a site location, for a new location or expansion project. So once you compile all that information, you have it already there, ready and available, so that if you do have an interest in your community or site, it's not going to take you that much time to pull it together because you already have it compiled. So that is another benefit of completing the RFI for this program.
Very good. And if I'm not badly mistaken, you have excellent information on your website at CED. You even have video webinars that's been done before and maybe recorded versions linked on there. So you've got ads all across the Commonwealth. You've got a website, CED, everybody can get to and can always contact you or new personnel that's been brought onto the position, correct?
That is correct. And we've had staff that have gone to Eastern Kentucky, and they've also gone to Western Kentucky for different meetings with the communities to discuss the program, and I believe we have another one maybe coming up for up in Northern Kentucky.
And I hate to do it, but the last date for round 2, which is the final round at present, is what again?
June 23rd.
Did you say June what?
23rd.
That's the last for the for the second round, correct?
For the second
June
round.
23. All right, thank you.
Thank you. You do great with helping us market this program. We greatly appreciate it.
He should have been a salesman. Senator Funky Fromeyer.
In by thanking Katie for being so quick and responsive. I had an opportunity to visit our Bracken County Fiscal Court for some great work that they've accomplished with the medical facility. And Katie, you were so responsive.
Great.
And I'm hopeful further connection with our fiscal court judge.
Happy to help.
But in grading the projects, the 8 that you shared with us, it seems that there's a lot of hope tied to them, but is the sort of business development pipeline considered? Is that how some projects might be selected over others, whether they do have prospects considering coming into the parks or?
So they look at, and scoring it, there's 3 different aspects, and I know there's a relative impact, there's a community impact, and then what am I missing, the third one? The community, I know, is looking at workforce, and all of this information is available on our kpdi.ky.gov website. So, and I can get you that information because I can't, let me see, I might have a...
When I was looking at the 8 projects that you had shared with us for the development grants, I didn't see much about how they were scored or whether there was some prospective uses already determined for some of these.
So we're looking at the return on investment, and this is actually, I think, spelled out for the program in the statute. So the independent consultant is scoring it based on the return on investment, and that's looking at the likelihood of the project completion at that site, both with the potential of the funding or without the funding. It's looking at the projected gross economic impact of a proposed project on that community, and the projected number of jobs that could potentially be created by a proposed project and potentially the subsequent impact on that community. And then determination of the cost of the job based on the cost that would be expended if this award is provided. So that's all taken in consideration for the return on investment. Then they're looking at a relative positive impact as well as workforce characteristics and data for the community is all playing into factors for their scoring that's done by that independent consultant.
Thank you so much. And I'm sure if I did your webinar,
No, you're good.
I haven't taken the time to do that. I'm out and about too much. Thank you again. And then we'll be hopeful to get Kylie Palmer's contact as well. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions? All right. Let's entertain a motion to.
I'll make a motion.
Senator Funky Fromeyer and Representative Petrie, y'all done great. See how easy this is? Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Senator Funky Fromeyer.
Yes.
Senator Howell. Senator Webb. Representative Herron. Yes. Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Fraser Gordon.
Yes.
Chair Girdler.
Yes. Aye. All right. We're going to invite, here we've had 2 pretty girls up here, now we're going to have Ryan Barrow. Oh, man. That's the old saying is, the more they come, the worse they look. Is that right, Ryan?
Yes, sir.
All right. You may proceed. Are we going to roll anything here? Yes. Let's get a motion to roll these. So moved. All right, we got a Representative Petrie motion. Second on Brother Thomas. I have to think every time I say that.
Walker Thomas.
If no objections, it's approved. Go ahead, Ryan.
Thank you. It's nice to anchor the meeting as usual. We have 2 items, Kentucky housing conduit transactions, just globally on both transactions to establish kind of the important components. There's no extension of credit. The Commonwealth or the Housing Corporation, they do receive from our office private activity allocation, allows them to issue tax-exempt financing. The first is Beecher Terrace. It is located at 900 West Liberty Street, and it's a 210-unit complex. The anticipated net proceeds of the transaction is just over 39 million, with the total project cost exceeding 100 million. There's developer and the information about the financing in the packet. It is developer's responsibility to service the debt. The second transaction is the Prestonian. It is a 343 unit located as well in Jefferson County. Both had public hearings conducted. I forgot to mention that. The Prestonian is a $55 million net proceeds transaction, with that total project cost exceeding 126 on an estimated basis, 100 million. There's developer and financing information in the packet for your reference.
All right. Any questions? Oh, no questions, right? Can I get a motion to, all right, got a motion on Senator Webb,
I'll second that.
second Senator Fromeyer. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Funky Fromeyer.
Yes.
Senator Howell. Senator Webb. Representative Herron. Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Frazier Gordon.
Yes.
Chair Girdler.
Yes. All right. Ryan, you just stay right there and start on the other, but we're gonna, can I get a motion to roll these together?
Motion.
Got a motion? Got a second, Representative Petrie. No one objects. Motion approved. Go ahead, Ryan.
So as we've talked about in prior meetings, we have seen muni rates come down since the first of the year. However, there is still some volatility. So we don't have any refundings to present this month, but we do have 4 new money transactions. None require a tax increase. The SFCC component is a smaller portion, just above 6%, with the vast majority of debt service being supported by local tax revenues, about 93, 94%, with an estimated par of $143.5 million. Happy to take any questions.
Is there any questions? Nope. Can I get a motion for the, be approved?
So moved.
Got Representative Petrie was a motion and Brother Thomas was second. All right. And Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Funky Fromeyer.
Yes.
Senator Howell. Senator Webb. Representative Herron. Representative Petrie.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Frazier Gordon. Chair Girdler.
Aye. Before we adjourn, Ryan, thank you.
Yes, sir.
It's passed. Before we adjourn, Representative Petrie's got a couple of remarks on the first item in the, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Simply commenting, not on a particular project or anything, I just want to make note of this. At least I'm and others are taking accounting of this as best we can. And watching school funding come through, educational funding come through, especially at the K-12 level, understand that when there is a major bond project that goes out, as we have by information in this particular agenda, for multiple athletic complexes and upgrades to athletics and so forth and so on, whether that be mainly local money or state component and whatever percentages, that reduces the amount of money that's available for other things such as labor and necessary educational space and an educational system for the sole purpose of educating people in Kentucky. I'm taking note of that, and others are doing the same thing, of watching how much money we're spending on, whether local or state or otherwise, toward things that are not directly related to education and educating children. Just want to make that note for public record. Thank you.
Now we've stirred the hornet's nest. We've got Robin.
No, it's not a hornet's nest.
I'm kidding.
No, Mr. Chairman, and I agree with the chairman in part. But I also know that studies show, and as a Title IX athlete myself, that particularly in women organized sports, that many life lessons and most of the leadership roles in corporations and government and all that were people that played organized sports. So I think there is value there. I think there is certainly a balance to be struck. We're grappling with that right now as we're doing a proposal, school proposals, and I agree in part, but I think we need to, I would be remiss on behalf of the women athletes out there, particularly that to minimize their role in organized sports and the facilities and the opportunities that brings. So, thank you.
Go ahead, Representative Petrie.
And we are not in disagreement at all. And it's well stated. I just want to make sure we're all clear. There is no diminishment of role. There is no extrication of that function from public education, a termination or of extrication. That's not it, but it's exactly what you stated. We're always looking for that proper balance. And that's why we're taking a close accounting of what's going on to make sure that everyone understands at the school board level, at the state level, and every other level. We have to be attuned to what that balance is, and it changes from moment to moment, year to year, era to era. And right now, I am looking at that balance, and I think others are also. Very much in agreement. Thank you.
Thank you all. Representative Petrie's going to get Jenny. Can we get her, because she's worked through lunch hour and spring, can we get them a double time? Anyway, the next meeting is room 131 at 3 p.m., Brother Thomas. Oh, all right. I knew there was some reason. All right, 3 o'clock's fine. Also, it's going to be chaired by my co-chair partner here, and so be here on time.
Did you notice it?
Yeah.
I did. Okay. I will fix that. Sorry.
Can I get a motion to adjourn? All right, we're adjourned. Thank y'all. 22nd, it says. Then you stay all night. Oh, it is.
So you're wanting to move the committee as well.
Oh. We've